Any questions,
Mr.
President?
President, do you think that NATO countries should shoot down Russian aircraft if they enter their airspace?
Yes, I do.
Mr. President,
This is my video update on this Wednesday afternoon, September the 24th, coming to you from Nicosia, Cyprus. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with day 2 of the UN General Assembly and day 2 of the clown show that is taking place at the United Nations. Day 1 was quite a clown show, right? You had the UN Security Council meeting. Then you had speeches from the likes of Ursula and Macron. But really day 1, what stole the show in day 1 was the Security Council meeting focusing on the MiGs allegedly over Estonia. Well, day two of the clown show was all about Trump. Trump stole the show. Day 2 of the United Nations. Of course, his cast of supporting actors and actresses included Zelensky, Macron, Ursula, and even Annalena Baerbock. She also made an appearance on day 2 of the UN General Assembly clown show. Well, of course, Annalena would make an appearance because she is, after all, the president of the United Nations General Assembly. But the entire show, the entire spectacle, started out with Trump's Truth Social post, which, oh boy, should I read it? I'm not going to read it. Should I read it? I don't really want to read it. The whole first part of his Truth Social post is nonsense. It makes no sense whatsoever. When you read it carefully, it makes zero sense. It talks about how the European Union and NATO should help Ukraine fight and should finance Ukraine so that it can win to get to its original form. Those are Trump's words. For Ukraine to get to its original form. And it should be the European Union and NATO that should help Ukraine do this, not the United States. So Trump right away makes it out as if the United States is completely different from NATO. Completely different. It has nothing to do with NATO. NATO and the European Union, according to Trump in the first part of his Truth Social post, should help Ukraine fight to win and to get back to its original form. And then Trump says in the middle part of his Truth Social post that Ukraine could possibly or should possibly, why not? He says that's the question that he says. Why not? Why not? Can't they win and get back to their original form? And then he says that Ukraine can even go further than that. He actually says that in the post. Ukraine can get to its original form and maybe even further, always with the help of NATO and the European Union, not the United States. He doesn't mention the United States anywhere in this post, at least when it comes to supporting and helping Ukraine. He then bashes Russia. He's very angry with Putin. It shows he's very upset with Putin because Putin didn't fall for the Kellogg-Freeze plan and the Minsk III trickery. And so he's very upset with the fact that he was unable to fool Putin and to fool Russia. So he says that Russia is a paper tiger, he says. He says that it's taken Russia 3.5 years of aimless fighting. That's the word that he used, fighting aimlessly. Those are the words that he uses in this conflict, which he says would have taken a real military power. And he actually capitalizes the R in real, the M in military, and the P in power, if I remember correctly. The R and the M and the P are capitalized. It would have taken a real military power to accomplish what Russia's trying to do in Ukraine. In 1 week, it would have taken them. Russia's fighting aimlessly for 3.5 years. A real military power, according to Trump, would have been able to accomplish its goals in 1 week. So he says that as well. He says that Russia is is in a war economy. He then says that Putin and Russia's economy is in big trouble. He capitalizes the big, B-I-G, big trouble. And he also says that this was a weird part of the post. He also says that that one day the Russian people, I'm paraphrasing here what he says, but it was really weird, a weird statement. He said, just wait when the Russian people find out, one day they're going to find out that that they have no more gasoline, and they're going to be waiting in long lines, and this is because of the war in Ukraine. I don't even know what he meant by that. Just wait, people of Russia. You're going to find out one day that you have no more gasoline and you're waiting in long lines. You're going to find out that you're waiting in long lines to get gasoline. Just wait. So he says that as well. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. The entire middle part of this Truth Social post. I get a headache just thinking about it. Reading it gave me a headache. Thinking about it is giving me a headache. Anyway, the last sentence pretty much sums up what Trump is trying to get at. And this I will read you. He says, in any event, I wish both countries well. We will continue to supply weapons to NATO for NATO to do what they want with them. Good luck to all. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. I want to walk away from Project Ukraine, and I don't want to be blamed for the West's defeat, for Ukraine's defeat. And in the meantime, I'm going to continue to provide weapons to Ukraine, and I'm going to make it as if I'm selling those weapons to NATO, and I have no idea what's going on. That's the reality of that sentence, right? That's what's really going on. That's what he's really trying to say. But the main goal in Trump's post on Truth Social, what he really wants to get out there is that he should not be blamed for the defeat that is going to come to the collective West, to NATO, and to Ukraine. Don't blame me. I'm walking away. But we're still going to sell weapons to NATO. The United States has nothing to do with NATO. We're going to sell weapons to NATO. They're going to do whatever they want with those weapons. I don't know. I don't care. That's it, right? Don't be upset with me, Lindsey Graham. Don't be upset with me, Mitch McConnell, and Newland and the neocons. I'm still selling weapons to Ukraine, right? But the United States, President Donald J. Trump, should not be blamed for the defeat of Ukraine and of NATO and of the collective West. Do not blame me. That's it. That is what he is trying to get at. And he wishes both countries well, right? I wish both countries well, as if the United States has nothing to do with any of this. I wish them well. Good luck. We're out of here. NATO, we can still do business, but you can do whatever you want with the weapons that we sell you, right? That's the message. Trump has he's heard from Zelensky, he's heard from Ursula, he's heard from Rutte, he's heard from Lindsey Graham that Russia is a paper tiger. He's heard that Russia is in a war economy. He's heard that Russia's military is weak. He's heard that Russia should have taken Kiev in 3 days. The propaganda lie that Milley made up, that people to this day still repeat. You want to know if someone is dumb? Here's the litmus test to find out if someone is stupid. If they still believe that Putin said that Russia would take Kiev in 3 or 4 days, if they actually still believe that in 2025, then yeah, that person is dumb. But yeah, he's heard all of this stuff: war economy, gasoline, long lines, all of these things, Ukraine, back to 1991 borders. He's heard it all. And he's basically saying, great, you guys in the European Union and NATO, get on with it then. Ukraine, European Union, NATO, go ahead and deliver the defeat to Russia, and go even beyond 1991. Go ahead. But just keep me out of this. Me, as Donald J. Trump, as President of the United States, keep me out of this. That's the post on Truth Social. And so the Telegraph, they actually posted an article with the title, "Trump is washing his hands of the Ukraine war. What may appear at first glance as a stunning U-turn may actually be bad news for Volodymyr Zelensky." Yeah, the Telegraph kind of has it right in this article. They kind of have it right. It is Trump's way of, his clumsy way, his very, very embarrassing, clumsy way of trying to get out of Project Ukraine. He listened to Kellogg for 8 months. They tried the conflict freeze. They tried unconditional ceasefires. They've tried security guarantees. They've tried to blame it on India and on China. They've tried to get India to stop buying Russian oil. They've tried to get China to stop buying Russian oil. They've talked about bone-crushing sanctions, 500% secondary bone-crushing sanctions, and 100% bone-crushing tariffs. And they've tried false flags and decoy drones over Poland and Russian MiGs over Estonia. Coalition of the willing. They've tried it all. They've heard it all from the Europeans and from NATO. They've tried it all. They've taken the advice. He's taken the advice from Kellogg, and nothing. And Russia is still winning and is now moving even quicker and closer to victory. And the Russian economy continues to move forward, still stable, still growing, and diplomatically, not isolated. Not isolated at all. BRICS has all of the momentum. The G7 is the laughingstock of the world. And so this is Trump's way of saying, go ahead, guys. Go ahead and do what you want to do what you have to do. And if you can get to 1991 original form, as Trump calls it, great. If you can go further, great. We'll continue to provide the weapons and the satellites and the targeting and all of that stuff and the Starlinks. We'll continue to do all of that. Continue to try to drag this war out, but just don't blame it on me. So anyway, that's the Telegraph. Kind of have it right. The UK media for the first time in a long time. And they're sad about this. They're sad about the fact that Trump is trying to wash his hands of the Ukraine war in a very, very clumsy, very embarrassing way. That is what he is trying to do. But as he tries to do this, the Europeans and NATO and the neocons, they're not going to let him get out. They are not going to let his administration get out in this way. They're not going to allow it. Lindsey Graham, he was on the media outlets, and he basically said as much. He was happy. He was happy with everything that Trump posted on Truth Social and everything that Trump said at the General Assembly. And you can tell that Lindsey Graham was basically signaling to Trump, we're going to stay involved in this conflict. Your administration is going to continue to stay involved in this conflict. Trump, when he was meeting with Zelensky, he met with Zelensky for 7 minutes. That's it, 7 minutes. But in those 7 minutes, boy, did Trump say some unnecessary things, some very unnecessary things. For example, a reporter asked him about the Russian fighter jets over NATO territory. And should they shoot them down? And Trump said, yeah, they should shoot them down.
Any questions?
Mr. President, do you think that NATO countries should shoot down Russian aircraft if they enter their airspace?
Yes, I do.
Mr. President,
Big mistake. Lindsey Graham jumped on this and he was so happy. He said, next time Russia's flying fighter jets over NATO, shoot it down, right?
Trump 2028. I hope this never ends. When he asks, what should you do if a Russian jet flies into your country? Shoot it down. He's tried to go out of his way to get Putin to the table. We don't want to humiliate Russia. We just want to end the war. And to our friends in Russia, here's what Trump did today. He told NATO, I'll sell you all the weapons you want. You can provide them to Ukraine. And as to Ukraine, you can use them any way you want. So to the Russian military, you're going to be up against the high-end American weapons that will be sold to NATO for the benefit of Ukraine. And this war is coming to your backyard here with no limitations like Biden.
Rubio, by the way, he had to correct that statement. And Rubio said there's going to be no shooting down of Russian fighter jets. That's not going to happen. Even NATO CEO Mark Rutte had to come out with a statement and say that going after Russian fighter jets is a case-by-case basis. That's what Rutte said. Trump also said that. One second. Oh yeah, he said that he does not trust Putin. He was asked about whether he trusts Putin. And he said, I'll let you know in about a month. That's what he said. So a reporter asked him, do you still trust Putin? And Trump said, I'll let you know in a month.
Well, any update on your talks with President Putin, and do you still trust him?
I'll let you know in about a month from now, okay?
This is with Zelensky sitting next to him. And of course, he was blaming everything on China and on India. China and India are the primary funders of the Ukraine conflict because the United States doesn't fund any of the Ukraine conflict. The United States hasn't funded anything connected to Project Ukraine going all the way back to 2001, 2002, right? They haven't funded anything. Going back to 1991, the United States has not funded anything connected with Project Ukraine. It's India and China that have been funding Ukraine, not the United States, right? When Trump was meeting Macron, he was asked about his statements connected to Ukraine, and he said, let them get their land back.
Most of you have seen the recent statement I put out a little while ago, and I'm glad you got it. But I feel that way. I really do feel that way. Let them get their land back. Yep. So we'll see how it all works out.
That's what he said about Ukraine with Macron there. And he said that Macron has been helping him with the Ukraine policy and helping him with negotiations and dealing with Putin and with Russia. He's been working with Macron. And he said, let them get their land back. Go ahead, let them get their land back. That's what Trump said, let them. The European Union, NATO, they can help Ukraine get their land back, according to Trump. Just don't bother me. Don't blame me and don't bother me, right? That's the message that Trump wants to get across. It's not true. It's fiction. It's a lie, but it's all about narrative and messaging, isn't it? Has nothing to do with reality. He met with Ursula as well, and Ursula said that by 2027, Russian oil will be completely phased out.
Madam President, how soon do you think that Europe can stop buying Russian oil and gas fluid like President Trump has asked for?
Yeah, President Trump is absolutely right. We're on it. We have reduced already massively the gas supply from Russia, completely gotten out of Russian coal, and massively also reduced the oil supply, but there's still some coming to the European continent. So what we do now, we put sanctions out to those ports where, for example, LNG is coming from Russia. And we want to put tariffs on oil supplies that are still coming to the European Union. So we are really getting after the last bits of oil and gas coming from Russia to the European Union. We want to get rid of it.
She said, we don't want any of it. That was so funny. Ursula's like, no, 2027, we don't want any of it. And Trump's sitting next to her going, okay, good. You're going to destroy yourselves, right? European Union, you're going to completely destroy your economies, right? And Ursula's like, yeah, we'll destroy our economies, but by 2027, just give us another year or so, and by then we will have completely phased out Russian energy, and we will be the very, very weak vassal that you demand us to be, U.S. President Trump, because you can't have a healthy, strong vassal, right? You don't want a healthy, strong vassal. What you want is a weak and feeble vassal. That's what you want, and that's what Ursula is going to deliver to President Trump. And for that, President Trump praised her.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to be with a very powerful, very smart woman and a friend of mine, become a friend of mine. And she does a fantastic job running lots of different nations. And Ursula, thank you very much for being with us. Thank you.
Thank
She was very happy, Ursula, very happy that Trump likes her. He was also asked about Hungary and what's going to happen with Hungary, because they need Russian energy. And Trump said that he's going to have a talk with Orban.
Still President Orban, who is refusing to stop buying Russian oil.
Well, he's a friend of mine. I have not spoken to him, but I have a feeling if I did, he might stop. And I think I'll be doing that.
So I think that's everything with Project Ukraine, at least. The meetings with Macron, the meetings with Ursula, the meeting with Zelensky, shooting down Russian jets. Do you still trust Putin? I'll tell you in about a month. Trump committed to nothing. Well, when you take a step back and look at everything that happened yesterday, he committed to nothing. He committed no money. He committed no weapons, selling weapons. He's going to sell weapons to NATO member states. That's what's really going on. The United States is going to be selling weapons to NATO member states. Right? That's basically what is going to be done. The weapons that the United States has, because we know from reports that I talked about 2-3 days ago, that the United States doesn't even have a lot of the weapons that Ukraine wants. For example, the Patriot air defense systems. The United States doesn't even have them to sell to NATO member states. Doesn't have them. And that's the weapon system that Ukraine needs the most. If there's one weapon system that Ukraine needs the most, it's the Patriot air defense system, right? So even there, where Trump is saying we're going to sell to NATO, that they don't have a lot of the weapons that Ukraine needs in order to sell them to NATO. But you know what's going to happen? There's going to be a lot, not a little, a lot of washing machine action. There's going to be all kinds of contracts created with the big MIC companies in the United States, and they're going to come up with big contracts, and the ways that these weapons are going to be purchased by European NATO members who will then get some sort of funding from the United States government or from U.S. think tanks or stuff. They're going to come up with all kinds of different schemes in order to create big contracts with U.S. MIC companies that will be fulfilled in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. But those contracts will be secured, right? So with Macron, Trump was asked about Israel and Palestine, and the U.S. president. The U.S. president claims he earned the Nobel Award multiple times over. Right? That's what he said. Oh my God, Trump needs Israel-Palestine peace to win the Nobel Prize. Yeah. So as he was meeting with Macron and reporters were talking to them, asking them questions, Macron was kissing up to Trump and buttering him up, and Macron said if he can get a solution to Israel and Palestine. Then he's got the Nobel Peace Prize locked up. And then Trump, of course, you know, I've solved 7 or 8 or 17 different conflicts, and we know the routine. But Trump also said, as he was talking about Israel and Palestine, he said, I'm on the side of Israel. I've been on the side of Israel really my whole life.
The day after in Gaza to stabilize the land. And we need a political perspective. And this is why we took this decision on recognition.
Well, I have to say that I'm on the side of Israel. I've been on the side of Israel really my whole life. And we are going to get a solution. And it's going to be a solution, hopefully, that's good for everybody. But it's time to stop. We're going to have that very important meeting. I think the meeting we have coming up in the next hour is going to be one of the most important meetings that we'll have here. We've had some important meetings. We've had some great meetings, and I understand where you are and where other people are too. And we just have to get this solved. We have to get the hostages back. We want to get the war over.
So during his General Assembly speech, Trump did mention Iran. And he said, I made containing Iran a top priority. I ordered full cooperation. If they suspended nukes, they refused. So in his General Assembly speech, Trump was pretty much hinting at another smash with Iran, right? Blaming Iran. Iran's at fault. Trump offered them cooperation if they suspended their nukes, but they refused, so they're at fault. And he's hinting at another conflict coming up with Iran. So Zelensky, he spoke to the media after his meetings with Trump, his 7-minute meeting with Trump. And Zelensky said that Trump will give Ukraine security guarantees after the war ends.
Security guarantees?
Yeah, security guarantees. So all of us, we understand that President Trump, that he's ready to give Ukraine security guarantees after this war will finish.
A meaningless gesture from U.S. President Trump, right? Telling you, Trump made no commitments, no promises at all. He committed to nothing. Said a lot of stuff. Tries to distance himself from Project Ukraine, while at the same time selling weapons to NATO, but he made no real commitments, not to Zelensky, not to Europe, not to anybody. So that's what Zelensky said. Once the war is over, then they got security guarantees. Zelensky then went on to Fox News to do an interview with Bret Baier. It seems that he has an open invitation whenever he's in the United States to do an interview with Fox News is Bret Baier. And Zelensky said that the strategic goal now for the collective West, for the Western Alliance, is to pull India into its fold. He said Iran will never be on our side. I think India is mostly with us. Yes, we had these questions with energy, but I think President Trump can manage it. We have to do everything not to withdraw India, and they'll change their attitude to the Russian energy sector. So that's what he said about India. He's delusional. He is absolutely delusional there. But Zelensky also said that he's willing to meet with Putin. He said Ukraine and other countries even offered Putin negotiations at the leaders' level, even in Kazakhstan. Peskov, he's commented on these statements from Zelensky, and he's basically said, why not just come to Moscow? If you're so ready to negotiate and to discuss things, come on over to Moscow. By the way, Peskov also commented on Trump's Paper Tiger statement from Truth Social, and Peskov basically said that Russia has been called the Russian bear. It's been called the Russian bear. It's the Russian bear, but it has never been been referred to as a tiger, let alone a paper tiger. So that's what Peskov said. You can tell that Russia is not too bothered with the statements from Trump and the Truth Social post. And now let's shift gears and talk about what is going on in Moldova. We're going to have parliamentary elections in Moldova coming very soon. And what you have going on right now is you have an influx, at least reports claim that there's an influx of NATO military pouring into the region. The Russian intel agency claims that NATO is going to make sure that Sandu remains in power and that Moldova remains part of the EU NATO project, and that they have their eyes set on Odessa. I have seen videos and images on the interwebs, allegedly, of NATO soldiers hanging out in Moldova, but I can't verify that these photos are recent or accurate. But anyway, that is what Russia's foreign intelligence agency is saying. We do know that Sandu has been making many arrests, political arrests, claiming that the people that she is arresting before the elections are involved in some sort of Russian influence election meddling scheme. I believe the arrests so far total 74 people, and she continues to arrest people before the elections actually are held. So they're going to do everything that they can. The Collective West, EU, and NATO to make sure that the parliament elections go their way in Moldova. And who knows, maybe Moldova will be that second front that the Collective West has been trying to get going now for so many years. So Hungary and Slovakia are not going to be part of the European drone wall. You know, the whole drone wall, 6 billion euros to create a drone wall to protect against Russian aggression. Yeah, Hungary and Slovakia have not been invited to take part in the drone wall talks and the whole drone wall operation. You know why? Because they don't want Hungary and Slovakia to listen in to the grift that is the 6 billion euro drone wall plan, right? They don't want Hungary and Slovakia there. Yeah, we know what they're up to with this 6 billion euro drone wall operation at the European Union. No need to invite Hungary and Slovakia to take part in any of this. Let's just keep this whole 6 billion drone wall thing between ourselves, right, Ursula? Yes, right. Oh, man. One more news topic, and then we'll get to a clown world. The guy that tried to take out Trump the second time, Ryan Ruth, I think is his name. He was sentenced, or he was found guilty yesterday, and he actually tried to stab himself with a pen or something like that, according to Fox News. Anyway, he was found guilty in court, and he will be sentenced, I believe, in a week or two. And most likely he faces life in prison, but he tried to like stab himself in the neck with a pen or something like that. This is the guy that has connections, verified connections to Ukraine or to some Ukraine organizations. Anyway, we've seen the photos and the documentation showing that he had some sort of connection to Project Ukraine, this guy, Ruth. So let's do some clown worlds and we can wrap this video up. And we go back to the UN General Assembly clown show. And we have Annalena Baerbock, the president of the UN General Assembly, meeting with Zelensky. She's very happy to be reunited with her crush, Zelensky, right? She liked Zelensky. Annalena Baerbock, very, very happy to be reunited with Zelensky. By the way, Zelensky's wife, tried to secure a bilateral meeting with Melania, and she got snubbed, according to White House statements. The First Lady doesn't have time to sit down with Zelensky for a bilateral meeting. She will say hi to her. She'll shake her hand and say a quick hello, but no time to sit down with her one-on-one. So that's interesting. Anyway, Annalena Baerbock, all smiles, hanging out with the Green Goblin, who was dressed in his black suit getup, Zelensky, as he was at the UN. And the clown world from yesterday absolutely has to do with Escalator Gate, Escalator Gate and Teleprompter Gate. So as Trump and Melania were about to go up the escalator at the UN building, the escalator, the going up, just stopped, and they had to walk up the escalator. It just stopped. Someone turned it off or something happened. And then when Trump was speaking to the General Assembly, the teleprompter went out. Some people say that Annalena was there in the back, in the background, kind of switching things off. She doesn't like Trump very much, Annalena Baerbock. The Green Party, they're not fans of Trump. So who knows? Those are rumors. Those are rumors, by the way. I'm positive that Annalena had nothing to do with these malfunctions, the escalator going out and the teleprompter going out. Trump made note of it. At the beginning of his GA speech, he said, "These are the two things I got from the United Nations, a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter. Thank you very much." So that's what he said about that. And then we go to Fox News, to Jesse Waters, who said for the second time that the U.S. should blow up some stuff. So remember, Jesse Waters said about a month ago, actually 3 weeks ago, when he was talking about Power of Siberia 2, that maybe someone should blow it up. That's what Jesse Waters said. And that was 2 weeks ago. And yesterday, when discussing the United Nations and the malfunctions that took place with the escalator and the teleprompter, Jesse Waters said that there should be two options for the United States: leave the UN, or we need to bomb it. That is what Jesse Waters said: leave the UN, or we bomb it. Second time that Jesse Waters has talked about taking these kinds of actions against infrastructure, buildings and infrastructure.
What's going on with the escalator? What do you think?
Yeah, they sabotaged them.
Yeah.
And they could have hurt the First Lady.
Yeah.
Trump would have fallen and he would have gotten back up. But, you know,
they would have blamed it on his rhetoric.
And then they sabotaged the teleprompter.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an insurrection. And what we need to do is either leave the UN or we need to bomb it. It is in New York, though, right?
Yeah,
there could be some fallout there.
Yeah.
All right.
Isn't it time that Fox News has a talk with Jesse Waters? Maybe suspend Jesse Waters for a couple of weeks, because here you have one of your main hosts talking about blowing stuff up. Not the first time, the second time. Yeah, I think that should be what Fox News should do with Jesse Waters, but they won't. Anyway, that is the clown world. That is the video, theduran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, Odyssey, Telegram, and X. Go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch like what I'm wearing in this video update. There is a link in the description box down below. Take care.